told everyone involved what my best friend's husband did. It was 6:40 in the morning when my phone rang, and I saw Nicole's name on the screen. I've known her since we were 19, working the deli counter together at a grocery store that doesn't even exist anymore. She never calls that early unless something's wrong. Both cars won't start, she said, voice shaking so hard I could barely understand her. We're stuck at the marathon on Route 9. Kyle's truck died. I drove to jump him, and now mine's dead too. I want to say that sounded made up, but it was -40 with the wind chill, and half the county was dealing with dead batteries, so I didn't question it. I pulled my Carhartt coveralls on over my pajamas, grabbed the jumper cables out of my trunk, and drove over with my hazards on because the plow hadn't come through since midnight. Nicole was standing by the pumps with her arms wrapped around herself. No gloves, teeth chattering. Kyle sat in his truck with the door open, scrolling his phone like this was somebody else's problem. I hooked my cables to his truck first. Nothing. Not even a click. I tried Nicole's Civic next. Same thing. Dead. Like the battery wasn't even in there. I called my husband Paul. He showed up with his Noco jump pack, the heavy-duty one that's supposedly strong enough for a diesel. He tried both vehicles. Still nothing. Paul was stumped enough to call his brother-in-law Russ, who's been a mechanic almost 20 years. Russ pulled up in his work van with a multimeter and a load tester, grease still on his knuckles. He checked both batteries, both alternators, both starters. Everything tested fine. He crouched by the cars a long time, breath fogging, shaking his head. These aren't dead, he kept saying. They're just not doing anything. 3 hours went by like that. 5 adults stomping their feet in a gas station lot at -40, taking turns thawing out in Russ's van. Kyle mostly stayed in his truck. I brought him a coffee once and he just said thanks without looking up from his phone. Eventually everyone was too frozen to keep going. Russ had another call waiting. Paul's fingers had stopped working through his gloves. I ordered a tow truck for both cars, and while we waited I started calling every shop in town, most not even open yet or already slammed from the cold snap. I was on the phone with the 4th shop when Kyle got out of his truck and walked over to me. He had this look like he was about to admit to something small, like a missed bill. I think I know what's wrong, he said. I poured antifreeze into both gas tanks, half a gallon each. I just stood there with the phone still against my ear. The guy on the line was asking if I was still there. I told him I'd call back. You've known this for 3 hours, I said. Kyle shrugged, said he wasn't sure at first, just had a feeling, and didn't want to say anything until he was sure, because he didn't want to look stupid if he was wrong. 3 hours. 3 hours of Russ testing alternators with bare fingers. 3 hours of Paul's hands going numb. 3 hours of me pacing the lot trying to find a shop that could take us. I texted Paul and Russ right there, word for word what Kyle told me. Paul called back within a minute, angrier than I've heard him in years. Said there was no way he was coming back out to help a truck that got sabotaged on purpose. Russ said the same thing, with more swearing. I found one more shop, a Firestone just opening up, and they agreed to take both cars once the tow finally showed. Nicole and I got lunch after, at the diner near the shop. I told her what I'd texted Paul and Russ about the antifreeze. She set her fork down, said I made Kyle look like an idiot in front of my husband and brother-in-law, and since we'd found a shop anyway, it didn't need to go further. Said I should have kept it between us. Then her phone rang. Kyle. She half stood up out of the booth to take it, but I could still hear him yelling through the speaker, that flat, tinny sound of someone shouting straight into the mic. It went on almost 15 minutes. Nicole kept saying it's okay, calm down, nobody thinks you're stupid, your parents get back tomorrow, we don't have to bring it up again. She was apologizing to him, for me telling the truth about what he did. When she finally hung up, her eyes were red. She said Kyle didn't want to see me for a while. She said it like I was the one who poured a gallon of antifreeze into 2 gas tanks and then watched 4 people freeze in a parking lot for 3 hours rather than open his mouth. I paid for lunch, told her I hoped the fuel system flush went fine. Paul picked me up outside. When I told him what Nicole said in the diner, he laughed, short and ugly, and said, tell her Russ is billing Kyle for the diagnostic time. Either way, Russ did. $240, itemized, sent straight to Kyle's phone that same night.